Ready? You will be shocked to hear that children as young as 5 or 6 years old are being charged criminally here in Jefferson County. There are 6,000 to 7,000 youths charged with criminal offenses each year in Jefferson County. A child who simply appears before a judge is 4 times more likely to progress through the juvenile justice system. Also, staying just one night in a juvenile detention center increases a youth's chance of going further in the juvenile justice system by 70%. You're probably aware of the increasing expense of locking up adults. In Kentucky, we spend nearly $400 million a year incarcerating adults. You may not be aware of the cost of incarcerating our youth. While it costs roughly $40 a day to house an adult, we spend more than $200 a day housing kids who have committed crimes. Think about it. How many semesters of college does $73,000 pay for? In my 30 years of working in the juvenile justice system, I must say I believe we are fortunate to have the system that we have. It is designed to protect the safety of our community as well as the rights of the persons being charged. Usually, attorneys representing the prosecution and the defense come together to resolve the issues. Then a judge makes a decision on the outcome of the case, and our system ensures that the youth is compliant with the judge's orders. However, there's one voice that's not evident: the victim. We go to great lengths to keep victims and offenders away from each other in the court system. Even with the harshest of penalties issued to a young offender, he or she may not understand the impact they've had on the person that they victimized. The victim will get their day in court, but they still may feel left out and unaffected by the court's decision. Sometimes all is needed is just a simple apology to repair the harm that was caused by the crime. 2 years ago, we discovered a better way to involve these victims while also keeping kids out of court. Restorative Justice Louisville was founded by a group of judges, attorneys, and other people working in the juvenile courts. As a complement to the current system, we take a compassionate approach to resolving nonviolent crimes by bringing the offender, the victim, their families, and the community together. These crimes are treated as a violation of the relationships between people in the community, and the discussion is facilitated that humanizes justice for all the parties. Up front, the young offender must accept responsibility for their part in the crime. They become accountable to the victims and the community and are given an opportunity to explain their actions. The victim and the community members are given a voice about how to resolve and repair the harm that was caused. This allows for a new outcome that's not always apparent in court: an apology, a resolution, and many times forgiveness. Let me tell you a story about a case referred to Restorative Justice Louisville. A 94-year-old great-grandmother was the victim of a theft. Her purse was stolen by 3 young men before Christmas. One of the young men was referred to us because he was under the age of 18. We set up a family group conference after meeting the young man, his family, the great-grandmother, and her son separately. The great-grandmother told us that she wasn't concerned about the money, but she was sad about losing the items in her purse that she kept that belonged to the 2 sons that had passed away. She wanted to make sure that the young man who took her purse did what he needed to do for himself. When the 2 families met, the mother of the boy burst into tears when she saw the great-grandmother. She tried to give her money, but the great-grandmother wouldn't accept it. The great-grandmother just wanted to talk to the boy and make sure he didn't do what she had seen her grandboys do. She wanted him to stay in school, keep his job, and they also found out that the young man had lost his father at a very early age. Our facilitator asked him what he thought his father would be doing or saying if he were there that day. The young man said, "I think about it every day." The next day, we set him up with a mentor in his community who he's still working with today. He also agreed to do 90 hours of community service, which we know would never happen in the court. One of the other boys who was charged as an adult received 5 years of probation. He now has a criminal record, and if he messes up, he has to serve the 5 years. And it would cost about $130,000 to house him. This young man did not have a chance to meet the great-grandmother, let alone hug her as our young men did after the conference. 4 months later, both families came together again, and the young man told the great-grandmother about his success in completing their agreement. The great-grandmother's son quoted, "This was not a crime, this was meant to be." And the grandmother concluded, "No matter what you do, you will always have another grandmother." We've seen many more cases like this when the victim and the offender enter a conference as us and them, but leave as we. Spending just an hour talking to each other can have an incredible impact on a young person's lives as well as the victim. We've seen many victims propose creative solutions to repairing the harm done by the crime. One victim was a small business owner whose property was vandalized, and $1,500 worth of damage was done by a 15-year-old boy. At the conference, the business owner let the boy know the damage that he had done. The business owner insisted that the $1,500 be paid back. However, he requested a very unexpected deal. He asked the boy and his mother to set up a 529 college account. The boy would have to find a job, pay $50 a month into the account for about 3 years. If he graduates from high school and decides to go to post-secondary school, he can use that money to pay for his school.